That was Anton Karas, theme song from The Third Man. I'm Randy Credico. This is Randy Credico live on the fly on Free Speech, listener-supported radio, WBAI in New York City, WBAI.org. You can support this program by going to WBAI, give to WBAI. It's give, the number 2, WBAI.org. Okay, so look, for the last, I would say, 8 weeks since I came back to the station, I've been saying I'm going to be holding my nose, thinking that this is a binary election. I look at it like the 1932 German elections. It wouldn't have been pro-Hindenburg, but it would have been a plebiscite, basically, between Hitler and Hindenburg, or the Weimar Republic. And that's the way I've been looking at this election. I've let one of my guests on this show today, Howie Hawkins, know that I wasn't going to vote for him, even though I ran Al Lewis's campaign for governor and helped get him a Green Party ballot line in 1998. I've worked with Howie. I've supported him in every gubernatorial election, but I told him to the point where I think that he banned me on Twitter that I was not going to support him this year, because I'm looking at it right now from Monday, this new Supreme Court justice, things like that. I'm nervous. I'll be honest with you. I'm getting older. But something happened here, which
I'm glad he banned you.
Catch my.
Actually, I didn't. Maybe someone on my campaign did, but I didn't. I wouldn't ban you, Randy.
All right.
Well, free speech. I mean, that would be a contradiction.
All right. Well, my position was that I do not like Joe Biden, but I like Trump even less, and there's a reason why I was saying I'm going to vote for Biden, holding my nose. I'm going to go with Cornel West. I'm going to go with Angela Davis. I'm going to go with Noam Chomsky, and just hold my nose and do it this year. All right. So, because I'm nervous about Trump. Now, I see this article the other day. I don't know how it didn't catch my eye. It said the Democratic Party's secret plan to kill third parties in New York. I'm a political junkie. How I did not know about this?
You know why I didn't know about it?
Huh?
They snuck it in.
All right. So listen, Larry Sharp is the other guest on with Howie Hawkins. Both of them ran for governor in 2018 and got their parties a 4-year, on the ballot line. 4 years.
In theory.
It's been like that for like a century, I think. But something happened on the way to the forum. And Larry, can you explain exactly in a nutshell what Cuomo did?
They are scared of these 2 Marines who are about to go take charge and fix this state. They don't like that. No, I'm kidding. What actually happened is what it's been for, as you said, for a very long time, how it works in New York State is if any gubernatorial candidate gets 50,000 votes or more on that line, that party now becomes an officially recognized party in New York State. It doesn't mean that you can't get on the ballot. It means the hurdles to get on the ballot go down tremendously if New York State recognizes you as a party. And the Green Party's been on a party for many years. Libertarian Party was never one before. We always had to get past those hurdles. Just recently, this last time, 2018, we got past that hurdle, which means now there are more voices in New York State. That's the goal, right? That's the most important piece. So now what happened is, oh, wait a minute. Now we want to stop that. And so Cuomo decided to make this new rule, which is it's no longer 50,000 votes on a gubernatorial line, which would be every 4 years. It is now every 2 years. So even if guys like Howie and myself, who are popular in New York State enough to get those votes, well, we don't get to run for governor in the off years unless Howie's going to run every 2 years forever. And he's going to just go crazy if we force him to do that. So we can't do that. So now every 2 years it is, and not 50,000, it's 130,000 or 2%, whichever is higher. So
that's for the presidential line, right?
Correct. That's correct. Of the overall vote total on a statewide election. So it means it's either the governor or the president, either one. Now, the harsh part about this is in presidential elections, very often you get a lot of New Yorkers voting. Sometimes 6, 7, or 8 million New Yorkers will vote, which means now you need 160,000 votes. So they tripled the amount that you now have to get to be a valid competitor. And on top of that, if you don't get it, in the past, you had to get 15,000 signatures. Now you have to get 45,000.
Whoa, you got to get
signatures.
45,000 signatures?
Correct. Yeah, so they even tripled the amount of signatures you got to get. Signatures in a COVID New York State, you got to get 45,000 signatures, and they will fight every one of them, which means you have to get 90,000, or they're going to, fight and say, oh, they're not valid. This isn't a real signature. So you know how hard it is? It's going to cost people literally tens of thousands, if not $100,000 to get just those signatures.
Okay. Now listen, let me go to Howie on this. Now, Howie, I know how difficult it is to get signatures. I ran for governor against Cuomo on the Democratic Party line in 2014. I was able to get 22,000 signatures, and they weren't challenged, okay, because Cuomo back then said, well, he'll water down the opposition and they won't go to Zephyr Teachout. That was a cynical way of not going after me. And Zephyr Teachout had the integrity not to go after me, but they could have found easily 7,000 bad signatures. 45,000 means you need 100,000, maybe 150,000 signatures. How long does it take, Howie, to get you when you ran in 2018 on the ballot?
Well, you only have a 6-week window to collect the signatures, which means New York is now the hardest state in the country. Texas has 57,000 signatures, but they got a year to get them. New York, just 6 weeks. So you want to run as an independent for Congress in this country, it takes thousands or tens of thousands of signatures, depending on the state. You want to run as an independent for the House of Commons in England, 10 signatures. For Congress,
how many?
10.
10. I'm looking at the German elections in 1932, and there were 11 parties on the ballot, and they didn't need those signatures. They just got on under the Weimar. They were able to get on. This is an outrage that you have to get that many signatures and then that many votes. Howie, what was the motivation here, Howie?
Well, I got 5% of the vote running against Governor Cuomo in 2014 when he wanted to run up the vote to get ready to run for president. He wanted to get more than his daddy got, Mario Cuomo. He wanted to get more than he got in 2010. And he got less. We got 5%. And he couldn't take us for granted. He had to compete for our voters. So he picked up demands he had never supported before. The ban on fracking, the $15 minimum wage, paid family relief, extending the millionaire's tax. He doesn't want the competition. He'd rather suppress us. And party suppression is part of voter suppression.
Yes.
We know what the Republicans do, but most of our voters wouldn't vote if we weren't on the ballot. In 2016, exit polls showed 61% of Jill Stein's voters would not have voted if she wasn't on the ballot. So that's a form of voter suppression too. Think about how authoritarian that is.
Yeah, it is vote. I was just talking.
Randy, let me jump in real fast just to let you know. This is why. Look, clearly I'm a libertarian. I'd rather you vote libertarian. But if I can't get you to vote libertarian, then vote green. Vote a third party, because if you don't do that, you heard how he said, and he's right. No one is going to challenge the parties to be better if we don't have third parties and fourth parties to challenge them to be better. They're getting into competition so they don't have to be better. So
well, let me wait a second, Larry. I was dead set, and I said this to vote for Biden. But this to me is when they're talking about Trump using and the Republicans using voter suppression tactics. I just talked to a Biden supporter in Wisconsin. He said what they're doing in New York is a voter suppression tactic, right?
Yes. Look, wait a minute. You voted in New York State, right?
Yes.
So Biden's going to win this damn state. Why do you care? Vote third
you
party,
know what?
man.
I got to tell you something.
Vote third party. He's going to win this
for
thing.
him. I was going to vote for him.
Yep.
Now you guys are going to make the case why I should vote for one of you two. I actually ran as the Libertarian candidate for Senate in 2010. You didn't know that, did you?
No.
And I was the left wing of the Libertarian Party. Mm-hmm. So, but give me a reason. You guys should. The difference
I'm gonna happily give you a reason to vote for Howie instead, because I know you want to go Howie. Go Howie. I'd rather you go Joe Jorgensen, clearly, but if I can't get Joe, I'll take Howie. I want you to vote third party for a very important reason. If we don't get 130,000 votes on the ballot on our line, our party is going to effectively go away. That means that there's only going to be two choices, maybe three, which will just be bogus parties who are just selling their votes away anyway on the ballot. And when that happens, since New York State is about 2.8 or 3 or so to 1 Democrat Republican, it means one party rule. You will have one party rule with no one around to even stop that one party. If you vote for Biden right now, if you go right now and vote for Biden, you are literally throwing your vote in the garbage. You will make no impact. You will change nothing. But if you vote for Green Libertarian, you will make impact.
All right, Howie's got a point to make here.
Well, Biden's been ahead 30% or more in the polls for the last 6 weeks. If you're a progressive and you're for a Green New Deal, you're for Medicare for all, you're for getting out of these endless wars, you're for dropping the charges on Julian Assange, Biden opposes all those things. If you're a progressive, you can vote against Trump and vote Green in this state, get us a ballot line, and let whoever's elected know what you stand for. Green New Deal, Medicare for all, ending these endless wars.
Well, you both got over 100,000 votes in the 2018 midterm elections, too. That's a lot. So they're going to be double the amount of votes this year. Don't you think you'll be able to get that?
I hope so, but you don't know.
It's going to be 170 or more thousand. The only time the Greens got more than 170,000 was Ralph Nader for president in 2000 and me for governor in 2014. We're fighting for our lives.
Yes.
When Norman Thomas came up short in 1938, the Socialist Party had been on the ballot for almost 40 years. They never got it back.
Right.
That's what we're facing.
Yeah. And let me ask you, why did the Senate and the Assembly do this in the middle of the night during this COVID crisis back when they submitted the budget?
Because the Democratic Party isn't very damn democratic, small d.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about Liz Kruger. We're talking about Brad Hoylman, all these Democrats, these so-called progressive Democrats. Why wasn't there a debate over this? I'll ask you that, Mr. Sharp.
Yeah, no, the most important piece to remember is, as I've crossed this state, and I'm sure Howie will validate this, there's a whole bunch of Democrats across this state who are literally afraid of our governor. They think he will punish them if they step out of line. Not all Democrats, obviously, but there's a huge swath of them who are literally afraid of his wrath. This is part of his wrath right now. So when he says, you know what, do as I say, and I'll give you something in return, or I'll leave you alone, or I'll make sure you still keep your seat, they tend to go fine, okay, yes. But they don't want to look so kowtowed. So they do things at middle of the night. They do things, they slide them in the budget. They do that stuff all the time to keep Governor Cuomo satisfied and to keep their own power.
Yeah, it's amazing. He and Trump are both from Queens, and they're like they got the same MO here. This is unbelievable.
Yep.
So, I have been saying I will vote for Biden, but man, it's impossible for me to carry through with that, being the fact that it would be a blow to democracy in the state of New York, and we'll just have Cuomo, like Trump wants to be president forever, Cuomo wants to be governor forever, and now he'll cut out some of his opposition. Unbelievable that this is happening right now. So is there a lawsuit, gentlemen? You guys, I understand, have a joint lawsuit, and how have the courts dealt with this hitherto?
Well, the lawsuit has been filed.
Mm-hmm.
I think the judge is waiting to see what happens in the election. So if we lose our ballot lines, we've been harmed, and then he'll consider the case.
Who's the judge? And is it in Albany, or is it in federal court, or is it in state court?
I don't know. I've been in court all over the damn country trying to stay on the ballot. Democrats attacking us everywhere.
Yeah.
So I can't keep track of all the details.
This one's in state.
This one's in state court. You guys have
specific
filed.
ones.
I mean, I know the Sam party, Stephanie Miner's party, would barely made it on the ballot. Got the ballot line. You guys got over 6 figures. She got 5 figures. But she filed a lawsuit, or the Sam party filed a lawsuit. Did that get thrown out of court?
No, they're all with it. Well, yes, their original one did, but they had a different. There were more than one lawsuit was filed. Their original one did, but now there's another one that the Greens, Libertarians, and myself are all on. That one still went. That's the one Howie's talking about. That one still exists and is waiting. We haven't got a decision on that yet.
Well, what they should have done is put this to the following election, 2022, right
Yes.
in the middle of the election, and then have a public debate over this. This is thuggery. This
Yes.
is despotism, and
Yes.
it's really disgusting. And this guy who rode after all those people died in the nursing homes because of him, he kicked all those older people out of the hospitals back in March, and 12,000 people died. He's out there like the mountain now. He got over the mountain. He's writing books. He's promoting himself. And so everyone knows he's lying and he's in denial about his culpability here. But they're afraid. The people in the Senate and the Assembly
Yes.
are afraid.
Yes. Absolutely true.
Yeah. So now look, I know there's some differences between you two guys. The Libertarian Party is big on gun rights. Are you on gun rights there, Howie?
Yeah, people should have a right to their pistols, rifles, and shotguns as long as they're law abiding. The Heller decision said people have a right to firearms. The public has a right to regulate in the interests of public safety. So then it comes down to the details, and maybe we'll quibble over the details, but we're not for taking guns away from people.
Well, even Trump says they're trying to take away your guns. Is he talking to hunters, or is he talking to people that are going to intimidate me when I go to vote on November 3rd?
Every time Trump's lips move, he's lying.
Right. Well, wait, the Libertarian Party, you guys are closer to Trump than you are to
Don't insult me. Don't insult me, man. Don't
I'm
do
just
that.
joking.
I didn't insult you. Don't insult me.
All right, I'm just joking there.
The Greens and the Libertarians agree on civil liberties, ending the endless wars,
Yep.
ending the mass surveillance state.
Yes.
We disagree on economics, but on economics, we agree on ending corporate welfare,
Yes.
which is what Biden and Trump have in common.
Yep.
Trickle down economics, give more money to rich folks. It never trickles down. So
Never.
Well,
We got
I must say that there are some good platform issues that the Libertarian Party, that's why I took their ballot line 2010. And that's why I supported the Green Party. You both are very good on the national security state, on the wars. I know Gary Popkin and I, the one that bundled every time I ran, it was a Libertarian when I was running as a Democrat that put because they want more people to run,
Yes.
right? More people to run.
More choice is going to help no matter what.
What's that?
We want to end the war on drugs too.
Yep.
Well, absolutely. You definitely want to end the war on drugs. The prison industrial complex is something that both the Libertarians and the Green Party. So look, I'm going to talk to my now let's talk about the Working Families Party. What kind of bind are they in? Because they have Biden as their candidate, right? So Biden is. If you guys could have put Biden on your line, right?
Theoretically, we wouldn't do it on principle, but we could have theoretically.
Yeah, but both the Libertarians and the Green Party, what makes us special in New York State is we don't just sell our line to anybody. Right? The other parties tend to sell their lines to whomever they think is best for their party. Greens and Libertarians don't do that. We tend to try to pick people who actually believe in what we're saying, not just, they'll get us a line.
So the Working Family Party, the Conservative Party, and the Independence Party, they're all
sellout parties.
There's only two candidates within those five parties.
Yes, they're all sellout. They're all sellout parties. They just go, who can ensure we have a line? Okay, we'll back that person. Or literally, who will promise us the most? Okay, we'll back that person. The Working Families Party tried to not do that with Cynthia Nixon, and when they tried to not fall in line like they were supposed to, that's when Cuomo said, "Oh no, we can't have that," and that's when he began to punish them.
I see, and that probably he's become so popular, this image that he's carved for himself. There's not going to be much of an outcry by the rank and file of the Democratic Party for what he did, even though it's anti-democratic. This is just
what he did to Cynthia Nixon should have made Democrats want to throw him out. How horribly he treated her, and she ran against us, and I still can't abide by how badly Cynthia Nixon is a famous person. She's a talented actor. She has money. She was passionate about what she believed in, and still the Democratic Party completely dissed her because Cuomo said, "Diss her. How dare her stand up against me?" It was terrible.
He's really bad. This is 3 terms. Another thing I mentioned is that he ran back in 2002, he got clobbered by H. Carl McCall. He actually dropped out, and then he double crossed the Liberal Party that had put him on their ballot line. And he used the movement that I was heavily involved in, the Rockefeller drug law movement. He was out there exploiting it. He parachuted in. And now that he got in, first attorney general and then governor, he hasn't given out any clemencies to people under the Rockefeller drug laws. There's been no prison reform whatsoever. He hasn't done anything about stop and frisk. You know, seriously. I mean, no clemency. Do you know that Trump the other day gave out more clemencies in one day to drug law convicts than Cuomo has in 10 years statewide?
Look, I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not voting for Trump, but I will give a man credit where credit is due. He did something for criminal justice reform. He did something. That's something, and I'll give him the something.
Well, Cuomo's done nothing for
I'll
criminal.
give him that. 100%. He did something.
Howie, what has Cuomo done on criminal reform in the state of New York?
Very little. I mean, he's given out a couple clemencies, but I know he had a record for giving out the fewest through his first 2 terms. I don't know about Trump. I mean, the border situation pretty much cancels out everything.
Yes, I agree. Look, I hate Trump. All right, I hate him, and the fact is, if he gets in, I'm worried about Roger Stone getting a job as a Reichsfuhrer and throwing me in a concentration camp. All right, seriously, I don't know what's going to happen. All right, seriously, if he gets reelected, I'm very nervous about how many more Supreme Court justices can we get like Barrett. Can be 9 Clarence Thomases on the Supreme Court?
We got to cut the Supreme Court down to size. Congress can limit its jurisdiction. That's in the Constitution. It can put term limits on the justices. I mean, this thing's become like a super legislature with a bunch of lifetime elders. It's out of whack with the executive and legislative branches. Congress could do something about that.
Where do you stand on that, Larry, about the
I like the idea of the Supreme Court having some form of term limits that would allow for the presidents to not get 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. For example, if you keep 9 justices as an example, if that's the number we keep, each one has 18-year maximum, so that every 2 years one is literally retiring. So every 2 years, a president gets to select one, no matter what. So now the presidents don't get. I get 7, and next president gets 1. Each president, if you win, you get at least 1. Every president gets at least 1, maybe 2. That's how it works every single time.
You would stagger it.
Something like that. You stagger it, and now at least if the country decides it wants to have a Democrat or Republican for 3 or 6 terms in a row, then the court would literally follow along what the people want. But if the people are rotating Democrat, Republican, or hopefully Green Libertarian, hopefully they do that, then we would have a mix in the court appropriately. Plus 18 years is enough to someone to be a talented, savvy jurist without having to actually stay forever.
Well, you guys both have some great ideas. We're down to the last minute. How do people, you're not running for president, right? You may run for governor again if they force you to get those 150,000 votes in 2 years and get 2 million signatures, right? That's what you're going to have to do. I think it's really disgusting. Good luck with the lawsuit. Guys, give me a closing thoughts in the next 30 seconds, how people reach you. First you, Larry, and then with Howie.
Guys, if you're in New York State and you want to actually have your vote matter, you've got to vote third party. Obviously, I'm biased. I'd rather you vote Libertarian. But if you can't vote Libertarian, if it's not who you are, then vote Green. But vote third party. There is no other way to make impact. Biden is going to win this state. Whether you love Biden, hate Biden, love Trump, hate Trump, it doesn't matter. Biden will get our 29 votes either way. So make impact. Vote third party. Preferred Libertarian for me, but I still love Howie. Vote for Howie. It's fine. Do it Libertarian or Green. Do that now. If you want to find me, head over to LarrySharpe.com or The Sharp Way, my podcast, TheSharpWay.com.
All right. And go ahead, Howie. You got a minute there.
Well, I would say to progressives, don't waste your vote. Your vote for Biden is going to win anyway. You just voted against Medicare for all, against the Green New Deal, against ending these endless wars, and the whole progressive agenda. So make your vote count. Vote for what you want. A vote for us is adding to the total that's kicking Trump out of the White House. But it means something. You vote for Biden, you get lost in the sauce.
Mm-hmm.
You want Medicare for all? They won't know that because you voted for Biden. And you can find out more about my campaign at howiehawkins.us.
All right, gentlemen, this has been a great conversation. I wish I had another 2 or 3 hours to continue talking
And
about.
by the way, Howie's been on the Sharpway twice. If you want to see his interviews, go to the Sharpway, put in Howie Hawkins. You will watch him and I discuss these things for over an hour.
All right. Well, it really, thank you. We will. I mean, right, you just said it. So, and I'll watch them myself. For me, I'm not going to say which way I'm voting. You guys have made a great case today. I came in, I was going to vote for Biden last week, holding my nose, only because this guy's got me very nervous. But you're right. If he can't win New York, Biden, then he's going to lose the race. It's going to be 50-0. This is going to be Carter versus Reagan or McGovern versus Nixon. All right, gentlemen, we're going to go out right now with a great campaign song. All right, this is from 1860. This the Hutchinsons. You know the Hutchinsons. All right, this is Lincoln and Liberty 2 by the Weavers. Right, it's a great campaign tune from 1860. The Weavers did it, and we're going to go out with that, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks a lot, guys. What a great show.
Have a good one.
All right, I'm Randy Credico. This is Randy Credico live on the fly, WBAI 99.5 FM. Give to WBAI.org, and we'll see you after the election if I'm not underground. Okay, see you guys.
Hurrah for the choice of the nation, our chieftain so brave and so true. We'll go for the great Reformation, for Lincoln and liberty too. We'll go for the son of Kentucky, the hero of Hoosierdom through. The pride of the suckers so lucky, for Lincoln and liberty too. Then up with the banner so glorious, the star-spangled red, white, and blue. We'll fight till our banner's victorious, for Lincoln and liberty too. All you true friends of the nation, attend to humanity's call. Come aid in the slaves' liberation, and roll on the Liberty Ball. And roll on the Liberty Ball, and roll on the Liberty Ball. Come aid in the slaves' liberation, and roll on the Liberty Ball. We'll finish the Temple of Freedom, and make it capacious within, that all who seek shelter may find it, whatever the hue of their skin. Whatever the hue of their skin, whatever the hue of their skin, that all who seek shelter may find it, whatever the hue of their skin. Success to the old-fashioned doctrine that men are created all free, and down with the power of the despot wherever his stronghold may be. Wherever his stronghold may be, wherever his stronghold may be, and down with the power of the despot wherever